Hello everybody. So we've seen many transports and places we can go to using trains, airports. We have these big aeroplanes and chunks. But this style had been Hello everybody. So we've seen many transports and places we can go to using trains, airports. We have these big aeroplanes and chunks. But this style had been do you know before the aeroplanes? I'm talking about way before the aeroplanes, before the Wright brothers even existed. I'm talking about that time. What do they use for aircrafts? Nobody knows that, right? And it's also very famous. Have you ever heard this band called Led Zeppelin? Well, it's also I think it's inspired by the aircraft which was named Zeppelins. So what are Zeppelins? Basically, before Zeppelins, there were these things called blimps. Blimps. Such a funny word. Okay. There were these things called blimps. Basically, they were inflated with air to fly. They were inflated with hydrogen. Because hydrogen had a massive lifting capacity, they always used hydrogen. Even though they knew it can burn. Well, we learn. So these are things that could be inflated and deflated. Basically, their shapes varied in size and everything. But Zeppelins were called rigid aircrafts because they had a metal skeleton which weighed about 12 tons. And then they had these huge bags of hydrogen to help lift the whole dirigible up. So basically that's the full interior of the Zeppelin, and they were controlled by petroleers. So that's what basically Zeppelins are. Basically, this man called Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin basically made Zeppelins come to life. This guy was an ex-army lieutenant, and he was simply bored with his life and started getting some interest in aircrafts. One day he when he was in war, he helped a soldier scout with a hot air balloon, and then he got interested there's this thing called flying. Okay, let's try this. Okay, great. So when he did that, he got sudden interest in basically in flying. So he was really peculiar about this one thing, and he wanted to try it. So then he invented this thing called L1. So that was his first ever aircraft. He first introduced it to the government, but the government was nah man, we're not doing this. This thing, I don't even know if we can afford this. So then he invested all his money into starting a company so that he can make Zeppelins and continue his project. Even though it was just a project, it's not a full functioned aircraft. But first when he tried it, it crashed. It didn't even go up in the air. It crashed. Right in the first second it was built, it went for a test drive and it crashed. Sad times. So when he tried that, he tried with the L2, which is his second aircraft. And he was you know what, let's try this again. We didn't go off to a good start, so let's really focus on this. So then he reduced some things and made some measurements and then tried again. And then this time it again crashed. Basically flew, it just went up in the air and then flipped and crashed. So then he kept on trying on this and kept on working on it. And then one point he just gave up. And he was you know what, I cannot do this. And then this other company was you can do this, man. And then he tried again, which is okay for this. So then he started making more Zeppelins, trying his project again and again and again. And then finally, his last Zeppelin finally caught flight in the air for 2 hours, which was amazing for that guy at least. So then, when all the government and the company saw it, they were impressed. Wow, this guy's invention actually worked. Let's do this. So then, they were okay, your invention worked. We're so sorry that we insulted you. Can we buy one of your Zeppelins? So then the army was we'll buy your Zeppelins, but on one condition. This Zeppelin has to fly for 24 hours. Then he was what? I just invented a Zeppelin that didn't crash for about 2 hours, man. I don't know if I can do this. But Then he was like, okay, what? You know what? We'll just give it a go. So then he tried for the zeppelin, and that was estimated to go in the air about for 31 hours. So then he was like, okay, this can go for 31 hours, please buy it. And they were like, okay, and they bought it. So after they made all the zeppelins, they were like, okay, we can do this. And then they took it on many wars. In the First World War I, the zeppelin was used. The zeppelin was used to take on the Britain, the French, and all of those people. But then what they didn't understand was using hydrogen again and again and again will just make it worst. Because like every time they bombed using air raids, they also the people on the ground also started taking them down. They also used a lot of bombs, and then they took down that zeppelin. And they kept on using it. That was a problem. Wow. And then they were like so focused on the idea that we are using these zeppelins and the zeppelins are right. But then it wasn't. And plus, like, that's why they should have at least used like helium. Helium will not like catch fire that quickly. Helium will like just lift it. It will not catch fire. So like they should have used that. Why didn't they think of that? So basically, to conclude that we know what zeppelin is now, and like that it was only used for military purposes till now. But then there was these zeppelins that were used for commercial purposes, and like the zeppelins that were used to carry passengers. Like what happened to the zeppelins? Where are they now? And why don't we have zeppelins anymore? And why do we shift to airplanes suddenly? We'll all find out that about the next video. And before closing, I have a tiny note from Mrs. Bhuvana Balaganesh. So let's hear it.
Hi Jackie, நான் யாழ்னியுடைய chat GP வீடியோ பார்த்தேன். நானே வந்து என் குழந்தைகள்கிட்ட கேட்கணும்னு நினச்சேன். எல்லாரும் இதை பற்றி பேசுகிறாங்களே, அது என்னது அப்படின்னு. நான் யாழ்னி ரொம்ப அழகாக எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிட்டா. பிரமாதம், ரொம்ப அழகாக, அப்படியே விஷயமே தெரியாதவங்களுக்கு கூட எல்லாமே தெளிவாக புரிகிற மாதிரி எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணியிருக்கு. பிரமாதம். குழந்தை என்னம்மா பண்ண, எனக்கு அப்படியே மெய் சிலுக்குது ஜாக்கி. இழுக்க அணைச்சு கட்டி பிடிச்சி 2 முத்தம் கொடுக்கணும் போல இருக்கு அந்த குழந்தைக்கு. என்னோட ஆசீர்வாதங்கள், ஆத்மார்த்தமான ஆசீர்வாதங்கள். ரொம்ப பெரிய இதுக்கு போகணும்னு என்னுடைய வாழ்த்துக்கள் யாழினிக்கு. தேங்க்யூ யாழினி குட்டி. இப்படியே பண்ணுக்கண்ணா, நிறையா பண்ணு, எல்லாருக்கும் சொல்லிக் கொடு. ரொம்ப அழகா இருந்தது. அதே மாதிரி அந்த புக்கு, ஆனி ஃப்ராங்கோட புக்கும் ரிவ்யூ ரொம்ப டீப்பா படிச்சிருக்கா. அதுல வந்து அவளுக்கு எப்படி எல்லாருக்கும் அது வந்து தன்னுடைய பார்வையிலிருந்து சொல்லணும்னு சொல்றது வந்து உங்களுடைய குழந்தை சுதா மேம் குழந்தைக்கு சொல்லியா கொடுக்கணும். அது டிஎன்ஏலயே இருக்கு ஜாக்கி. ஐயோ, எனக்கு வந்து யானை வந்து என் கண்ணு முன்னாடி இருந்தா போறோம்னு இருக்கு. இப்போ அப்படியே இருக்க அணைச்சு முத்த மழை பொழிஞ்சிருவேன். அப்படி இருக்கு, எனக்கு அவ்வளோ சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு. தேங்க்யூ ஜாக்கி. தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் ஃபார் bringing out her talent. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Miss Bhuvana auntie. Thank you so much. Big hugs and kisses from me too. So that's all for today. See you guys in the next video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and please get up that likes. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next video. Bye bye. So that's what zeppelins are.